This is the Thursday devotion being made early on Friday, but I felt it was an important devotion and just didn't get a chance to get it done yesterday. Nobody likes to be out of control in a car. We recently were on a golf cart and going down a steep hill, and the brakes on the golf cart aren't power brakes, and felt like we were out of control, and it was a little scary thinking that we might turn it over or that we might cause an accident with it. When we're out of control, something else has control of us. Listen to the definition of addiction. Something compulsive or irresistible, extremely difficult to stop, psychologically or physically dependent upon that thing. Out of control. That's exactly what addiction is all about. We're out of control. And it's not just illegal drugs. It can be legal drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, food, sugar, caffeine, sexuality. All of these things are addictions or can become addictions if we're not careful. 15.9 million Americans, 12 and up, admit to using illicit drugs. That's 7.1% of our population. 7.1% of our population are taking illicit drugs. Over 20,000 deaths per year, more than most wars, were caused by drugs and alcohol. Stats show that 50% of children will try drugs by the time that they're teenagers. 20% of those will become addicted. 20% of the children that try drugs will become addicted. Marijuana, as 83% of Americans have tried it. 12 million are using it in the last 30 days. 20% of the 8th graders admit to trying marijuana, and 50% of the 12th graders have tried marijuana. That's 1 in every 2 12th graders have tried marijuana. Over 15 million have alcohol addiction. That's 500,000 of those 15 million who have alcohol addictions are 9th to 12th graders. 500,000 9th to 12th graders have an alcohol addiction. 15 million Americans have an alcohol addiction. That's 6.6% of America admit to having a serious problem with drinking. Injuries, deaths, and violent crime almost always go hand in hand with alcohol addiction and drug addiction. What does the Bible have to say about this addiction problem? Well, it tells us how much danger there is even in the limited addictions that there were during biblical days. And most of the time it was alcohol. Noah in Genesis chapter 6 verse 8 became out of control with drunkenness. Lot and his daughters, there was incest involved. Genesis 19:33. Habakkuk 2:15 talks about getting neighbors drunk so they could look with lewdness on the nudity that came as a result of the out-of-controlness of alcohol. Romans 13:13, Ephesians 5:18, 1 Peter 4:3, Proverbs 20 verse 1, Proverbs 21:17, Proverbs 23:17, Proverbs 23 verses 21, 29, 30, 32, and 35 all deal with the wickedness and the evil of just drinking. Jesus taught about drinking, and it wasn't good. In Luke chapter 21 verse 34, he put it down considerably. And as we think about this whole subject, we recognize that being out of control is just the opposite of what the Bible asks us to do. And it says, don't be drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit. Controlled by the Spirit of God instead of controlled by an illegal or a substance that is addictive. One that ruins lives, costs jobs, costs family relationships, and one who destroys the health of those who overindulge in those things that are addictive. And what's the solution? Never start. Parents, help your children to realize the dangers of even trying them. That almost 1 in 2, when they try them, will continue to use them. And that's a dangerous situation. Whether it's alcohol, cigarettes, whether it's illegal drugs. When we have a society that is now saying it is legal to buy marijuana, they're going to try it, just as perhaps you tried cigarettes or alcohol when you were a child. If it's not illegal, it's less of a danger, they think in their own minds, to try it. When we say that it can be used for medical purposes, they think this means that it's safe, and we know that it's not. So what do? We need to teach our children. We need to refrain from it ourselves as an example. We need to be sure that we understand the dangers of addiction. We need to be sure that we find anyone in the family who has an addiction problem, getting them to Christian help, where God is part of the answer of getting away from this addiction or dependence upon things that are harmful to us, that will take other people's lives, and that can be damaging to our entire society. We have an obligation to set the example as adults. We have an obligation as adults to teach our children and to be able to help others get away from the addiction of drugs, alcohol, and those things that would cause serious health problems and problems in their lives. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.